What's up, everybody, and welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. I'm Drew Bosley, and of course, that's the one and only. It is Scott Savage. Scott, what's going on, man?
Oh, I'm getting used to, the review grind, but I'm looking forward to the next batches of games.
Dude, there's
It never
never a
ends.
shortage. No, it doesn't end, does it? Like, there's always something on the go for us here. There's always a new game coming out. It's funny, we had a bit of I think the last week or so, games have been a little light.
Yeah.
Right? You're looking for some of those big AAA title games. Well, there's a bunch of them in the works. There's a bunch of them coming too. Dude, there's a couple that are coming down the pipeline.
We have been spoiled rotten for the last year, so
yeah,
you got to take that into account.
Absolutely. Scott, what people can take into account is us over on twitch.tv/theofficialITG, as well as YouTube at youtube.com/theofficialITG. But if you can't join us live over there at 11 a.m. Eastern, Monday to Friday, then hit us up later inside the game.ca podcast services and TV streaming networks around the globe. Coming up on today's show, Scott, PlayStation wants to keep the exclusives coming to the platform with Marvel games. There's a lot to talk about there. Sony ready to leave your PlayStation 4 behind, and Microsoft is planning massive layoffs for Xbox and Bethesda, Scott. It continues.
Yeah, not such good news in that case, no.
No. Yesterday, though, Scott, we got an update of what's going on. We've been talking about it. Yves Guillemot in his comment of putting it all on his employees to come back around and kind of fix the company, and our thoughts and their thoughts and stuff. But Yves himself has made a comment. So here's a little PSA, a little update. Guillemot has now said that is not how his statements were meant to come across. Quote, "The ball is now in our court. For years, it has been in your court, so why did you mishandle the ball so badly? So we, the workers, have to fix it all for you." Question mark, end quote, read a question on a list submitted to Ubisoft's management. Guillemot reportedly opened the meeting by addressing the question, quote, "I heard your feedback and I'm sorry this was perceived that way," end quote. He said, quote, "This is a collective journey that starts, of course, with myself and with the leadership team to create the conditions for all of us to succeed together," end quote. Scott, why didn't he say that in the first place?
Yeah, I'm really puzzled on his initial message, but this, to me, you read between the lines, and I know this is what he attempted to say, but it did not come out right. And I'm glad that there's some form of ownership here. Okay, that was taken wrong. Let me explain properly. This is the kind of rallying cry that Ubisoft needed.
Yeah.
Not whatever the last message was.
Dude, when it came out, I was like, uh-oh, like this is wrong. Like this is not good news to hear that statement initially, right? Yves Guillemot said, like, this is not how it was meant to. It's funny because at the end of the day, Yves isn't any different than us, right? He's just a human being, and what he thought in his mind was what he was saying just didn't come out or was portrayed in that manner, right? So now he's left kind of picking up the pieces going, crap, no, I goofed up. That was not exactly how I meant this to come across. I really meant it like this. And sometimes it's just, how many times have you ate your own words, Scott? Like, it happens, dude. I do it a lot. So it's just one of those things, right?
I've never had a hockey coach, and I've played hockey for a decade. I've never had a hockey coach go, "It's your fault we're losing. This is awful play." You have a trainer on the team to do that, but that's not what the coach does. The coach comes and rallies everybody together, like Vince Vaughn in any Vince Vaughn movie.
Yeah, well, that's one way of putting it. So, yeah. It's
am I wrong?
No, yeah, I am glad that he did come out to say I'm sorry, more or less, right? I meant it in this manner. Hopefully that's enough to kind of spark something over at Ubisoft and get things fixed up and things like that. We just read an article from Tom Henderson over at Insider Gaming stating one of the reasons why we're getting a lot of these delays and cancellations is because of the pandemic has pushed everybody to work from home. And as in, was it 2024, Scott? I think what we read is that they're looking to bring everybody back in-house, make it in the studio. And that way there is not a disconnect in communication, right? Because often if people work from home, it is, here's an email, and you kind of wait for that communication to come back to you via email, where if you're in the studio, you can just go talk to that person. So
we've all made the mistake of saying something not correctly via text. And the idea that all these creatives are separate from each other, that's not the team kind of mentality that you want. And it's important to see them make changes.
Yeah.
And like I said to you off air, it's pandemic related shutdowns made sense. Everybody working from home made sense.
Yep.
Why not, if you can get away with it? But when we're seeing issues like this, and I think that's pretty undeniable.
Yeah.
I think it's time to call it and come back. Otherwise, you almost just shutter the doors.
Yeah, I know we're looking at ways of coming back in the studio because it does spark a little bit of different camaraderie around
Oh, I
each
can't
other.
wait. It was so much fun.
Well, that's just it, right? Like we did have fun, but yeah, everybody moving back home for the pandemic made a lot of sense. Everybody had to keep their distance and things like that. But now it's just a matter of this is kind of life at the moment, and how do we kind of work best in these conditions? And I think going back into the studio is something we're definitely looking at doing this year. But Scott, let's move on to what PlayStation's doing this year, as PlayStation's planning more exclusives, Marvel games, including Punisher, says Insider. The Punisher. Scott, are we gonna get a Punisher game, dude?
Oh, that has me excited. The only comic books that I still keep up with are The Punisher and Spawn.
Really?
And
Spawn?
either
Really?
one of those games would be amazing.
Yeah.
Oh.
PlayStation is playing several more exclusive Marvel video game adaptations that may include Daredevil and Punisher, according to a new report. Xbox and PC gamers around the world were less than thrilled when it emerged Insomniac's excellent 2018 game Marvel Spider-Man would be a PlayStation exclusive. It soon merged. This was only the beginning of PlayStation's Marvel's universe. Very true. 2020's Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales expanded the world in a fun new direction, while last year saw the announcement of Marvel Spider-Man 2 and Marvel's Wolverine. Scott.
Another one I'm very excited for.
Both will be developed by Insomniac, and both will be PS5 exclusive games. Ouch, Scott. We know that,
Now,
right? Okay.
I'm wondering, is this PS5 until 2 years go by and we get it on PC?
Well, we are starting to see PlayStation branch out a little bit, right? You're starting to get them going, hey, you know what? Steam is a massive market. There's a bunch of people on PC that we're missing out on. And we've seen God of War come over there. We've seen Horizon come over there. We've seen Days Gone. Like, a lot of games are coming over to Steam.
And Spider-Man now.
And Spider-Man, yeah. Spider-Man just came to PC. Corey actually just reviewed that not too long ago for us. It is one of those things that PlayStation is starting to branch out, which is great to see. You're just not going to see it like Xbox where it's day and date, right? They're going to hold that back 6 months, a year, whatever that may be. And then as it starts to fizzle off is when PC players will get it. So they have another surge, right? With interest in the game. Oh, by the way, here it comes. Returnal, another one we're talking on today's show. If we get that far, you never know how far we get as we keep talking all the time. This was one of those things, right? But yeah, when we now talk about Spider-Man 2 coming, PlayStation exclusive. Wolverine, we know, is a PlayStation exclusive. So it's kind of one of those things. Now we're getting even further. Now it's being claimed that there are further PlayStation exclusive Marvel adventures in the works, although you'll need to take this one with a particularly hefty grain of salt. Over on Twitter, a leaker by the name of Rethayan has teased via the good old emojis, Scott. There are a few more Marvel games coming through collaborations with PlayStation Studios. The emojis appear to represent Daredevil, Iron Man, Spider-Man, Punisher, and Captain America. Dude, we did get an Iron Man game. You may have
now there was a VR. Was it a VR Iron Man? I thought so,
Yes.
because I confused it with the Iron Man of old that I'd played on 360.
No, so there was an Iron Man, came to PlayStation VR by Camouflage. It was great. It was really, really good. You felt like Iron Man. It was awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
But what's next, right? Dude, Daredevil, the Netflix series in Daredevil was fantastic. Can that be a video game? No.
I didn't actually see that one.
Oh, it was so good. It was so good. But I think you can take moments of the show to make it your own, or they just do a whole spin-off like what Insomniac is up to and create their own Daredevil story. And I think that would be fantastic. Scott, is there a Marvel IP that you would like to see?
Oh, I've been thinking about it, and I think it's mainly X-Men. I don't believe we've seen an X-Men game for a very long time now, and I'm thinking of X-Men Academy, believe it or not, way back.
Wow. Really?
At least I think I remember. I would have been about 7 years old at the time. I think that was a fighter game.
Oh, there's
on
been
the PlayStation
couple.
1.
Yo, give NetherRealm the Marvel IP and make us a fighting game. Right?
Please.
Oh, man. I'm absolutely down for that. Yeah, as much as I love Mortal Kombat, if we can get into a Marvel IP fighting game from NetherRealm, I'm so down. I don't even need finishing moves. even though that would be amazing to see that. I know that'll never happen because Marvel will never let that happen. But either way,
No.
given the existence of Spider-Man and Wolverine as PlayStation exclusives, we could certainly see Sony making moves to build some kind of Marvel PlayStation universe. Naughty Dog's boss Neil Druckmann has said in the past he wants to make a Punisher game. Oh, yeah, I'm down. I'm so down. The Punisher series on Netflix, absolutely amazing. If we can give that over to Naughty Dog, yeah, I'm down for that. We've all played.
I would like to see
Uncharted. Yeah, we've all played Uncharted. Even yourself, Scott, have played Uncharted.
That's right. Yeah. I would like to see John Bernthal return to video games in another, hopefully more positive light.
Yeah, don't put him in Ghost Recon.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was a good attempt, but it just didn't work out for reasons that weren't his fault. So I want to see him get that kind of redemption.
Yeah, no, it would be nice. I'm there with you, though. X-Men.
There was a whole series in the comic book, and I may be fact-checked for this, that's fine, but there is a Punisher series where he goes and I believe he kills every single character from the normal universe. They've gone bad for whatever reason, and he has to put them down. And that, as a video game, I'm thinking God of War, but you're Punisher, you're obviously not punching people and throwing houses around, but...
That'd be very cool. No, it's... Man, if they can pull anything from the series from Netflix at all, that would be amazing. I do love the Punisher. It's funny because I put the Punisher logo on my wife's Jeep. So
that's cool.
Right on the hood. Yeah, she's a big fan too. So it'd be cool to see. It'd be nice, and especially if Naughty Dog was to take the realm on it and dude, lead that into something would be amazing. Here's the sad part though, Scott. PlayStation's holding all the exclusives, dude. What do you do, right? Here we go again. More exclusives.
Yeah,
for PlayStation.
I was told that Xbox was doing that. Now I don't know what to believe.
No. Well, continuing on with more PlayStation, Scott. Sony's finally leaving the PlayStation behind. This comes from Kate over at Gaming Bible. PlayStation 4 era was a good one to us. It spawned Red Dead Redemption 2, Grand Theft Auto 5, God of War, The Last of Us Part 2, Persona 5, and Uncharted: A Thief's End. But alas, all good things must come to an end. The transition into PS5 era has been slow. We've seen plenty of games receive cross-gen, I read that backwards, cross-gen release due to PS5 console shortages, but with PlayStation's boss Jim Ryan confirming that those shortages are now over. I don't believe it, Scott. I still don't think it's over, man. I just don't. I don't know. But we'll see what happens. It could soon be time to say goodbye to your PS4. It was previously claimed that PS4 games could be phased out by 2025, but a new trailer appears to show that Sony is ready to move on as soon as possible. As pointed out by Kotaku, the trailer features 23 upcoming titles, but only 8 of those are due to release on both PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. Many of the year's biggest titles include Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Dead Space, Jedi, Scott, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores are listed as coming to PS5 only. We're starting to see the move.
I saw a bit of confusion with this because Star Wars Jedi Survivor is also going to be on Xbox, but this kind of makes you believe otherwise. But that seemed to have just been a misunderstanding. That's not the case.
Yeah, no, it's Star Wars. It's definitely a cross.
It's not coming to Switch, I don't believe.
No, it would be on your Xbox. It's going to be on your PlayStation. It's just not going to be on last gen, I think, is the biggest thing to take note of, right? We are starting to see that transition. Developers want to be able to push themselves and push their game forward and make it easier to develop. A lot of people now, a lot of the studios are starting to switch over to Unreal Engine 5 in order to do that process. Star Wars Respawn, I believe, has their own engine over there. Insomniac, I'm not sure what Insomniac's working on for their engine, but there's a lot of people, and Guerrilla Games has their own as well. It's funny. There's still a lot of the industry focused on Unreal Engine 5, and a lot of them have their own engines in-house that are trying to make things work and still be able to push the technology one step forward, right? And have the facial animation to be so believable that you wouldn't tell the difference. At the end of the day, we can, but it's getting closer and closer, man. Right?
I think the Turing test, I think, is AI, a conversation with the AI. It's a little different, but the idea that facial animation can advance that far beyond even motion capture. I'm thinking of Quantum Break. It's setting the internet on fire thanks to Jez Corden, I believe. But Quantum Break had a lot of development in that scenario where they're reading your face and whatever. All of that can be advanced so much further with the new consoles.
Yeah, but Scott, if you are a PS4 owner and wondering what to play this year, the trailer did tease that you are getting Assassin's Creed Mirage, Resident Evil 4, Street Fighter 6, Destiny 2 Lightfall, Interior Nights, Chia, Season, A Letter to the Future, and Hogwarts Legacy will be there as well. But you'll also be able to play those all on your PS5. Just one of those things. Mm-hmm. So there is that, Scott. It is interesting to see everybody trying to push over to the next gen only now.
Oh, we are 2 years into the cycle now, the console cycle. And when do you call it? When do you move forward? Well, I don't recall how long the previous generation waited to kind of take over, because I held on to my 360 for a very long time.
A lot of people did.
I cleared out, basically, I cleared out my local EB Games out of all of their 360 games. I am now the library.
It's very interesting. How long will they take hold of the PS4 and keep it going, right? There's there's a huge install base on PlayStation 4. So to give those people a reason to keep coming back to the PS4 is something you want to do, but there's also the reason to make them jump to next gen. There's a reason why you want to go to PS5 and push them over there. It's a tricky balance, and I'm glad it's not one I have to worry about.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Scott, what people are worrying about right now, though, is Microsoft is laying off 10,000 people as of yesterday, including its gaming divisions such as Xbox and Bethesda. This mass layoff arrives exactly 1 year after Microsoft announced plans to purchase Activision Blizzard for $69 billion. This is sad news. Really, really sad news. Scott, the thing I went to is, are they making room for Activision employees?
Ooh, that's something I hadn't considered.
Right?
I want to believe that the whole business of Blizzard Activision as it stands could stand on its own, though. So I'm not certain they would need to make room.
No.
But Brad and I, Northern Nerdcast, were speaking before the show here about this very issue. And will this affect the acquisition is basically what we were talking about. Mm-hmm. And because can you demonstrate that you have the ability to house all these people and fund them, but you can't, like, you're going to buy this acquisition, but you can't support your own employees? That doesn't seem to make sense. But first of all, I don't think that's the FTC's business, not by doctrine. And secondly, I think it's more indicative of the grand economy at large. I don't think that's necessarily the case here.
Yeah, I think it's more of an internal thing. We see a lot of companies, we see everybody taking hits and getting laid off. And every day I look on LinkedIn and there's somebody else getting laid off. I'm like, man, oh man, like, it's just nonstop. Yeah. And it's not just our industry either, right? Like, it's every industry across the whole world is starting to see effects of, I think, the pandemic kind of catching up. Things are adjusting. People are trying to figure out what to do next. And sometimes the companies are they got too big to be able to handle, and they have to downsize. Unfortunately, it's 10,000 people. Hopefully they land on their feet and are able to jump onto something that's still in their wheelhouse, right? I think that's the biggest thing, is that you still want to be in your field, but hopefully they'll be able to capitalize on that and jump ship. Say, hey, I worked here, just got laid off. Somebody hit me up. And our hearts go out to them and their family, and hopefully they'll be able to get back on their feet really soon. Who's not getting on their feet, though, right now, Scott, is what Warzone 2 and Modern Warfare 2 Season 2 details reveal. It's been delayed.
Yeah.
Right? So layoffs, delays, everything's coming around. It's Tom Ivan of VGC. Previously expected to launch at the start of February based on the Battle Pass countdown timer, the second season of content will now arrive on February 15th. Quote, our studio teams have been making several changes based on what we have heard from our player community, end quote. An update from the Call of Duty Twitter account reads, quote, Season 2 includes all new content with the return of Resurgence and a brand new small map for Warzone 2. Scott, you touched on this yesterday. A lot of people don't like Warzone 2 as much as they liked Warzone 1. Now there's a delay with Season 2, and we're getting a smaller map, Scott. What's the count size for the people?
I think that's sort of what people miss from Warzone 1. I don't fully understand what the issue mainly is with Warzone 2. I know it's a bit of growing pains, really, but Warzone 1 did have the Resurgence map. And it
Right.
Resurgence Island, Rebirth Island, that's what it was.
Yes.
And Resurgence game mode. So there is a bit of a return to what people are used to. My big thing is the movement. Can somebody please fix the movement in Warzone 2? Or if you're mad that the movement isn't so crazy, just play Titanfall. I've been there.
Ranked play is also back and coming to Modern Warfare 2, along with new multiplayer maps, new modes, weapons, and much more. So small delay, Scott, about 2 weeks, give or take, right? So
yeah, not terribly long.
No, but Call of Duty did set the world on fire, selling like $800 million in the first week.
Yeah.
People are just looking for something else now that they've been in it for so long. So yeah, new season coming around the corner. We'll see. We'll be jumping into that. Scott, I do want to get to this one for sure as well. This is exciting news. I saw this. You should be excited too. I actually think you are. Returnal PC release date, specs, and features were revealed. This is again Tom Ivan over PGC. Sony Interactive Entertainment has announced that the PC version of Returnal will be released on February 15th. Scott.
Oh, it seems these Warzone players have a choice to make.
Yeah, the game's release date was revealed alongside its PC specifications and a new features trailer, which are viewable on their site as well as YouTube. Make sure you go over to, I believe it'd be over on PlayStation blog. They'll have an announcement over there. NVIDIA DLSS and AMD FSR have been added, allowing you to dial up your frame rate without compromising your on resolution. Housemark brand director has stated over on the blog post, and it's got all kinds of features. I think the biggest thing, Scott, another game from PlayStation in-house studio coming over the world of PC. How excited are you?
I cannot wait to try this one, specifically because you had stated that it's quite difficult, and that's exactly what I want right now. I want a little bit of an edge there.
Well, granted, it's difficult. Taking account, I am not a Dark Souls, Demon Souls player, so if you are, it may not be as difficult for you. They did add in a save state, which wasn't there before.
That was a big deal.
That was an issue, right? They expected you to start the game and then finish the game. I was like, that, dude, I don't game like that. It's just not possible for me to do that. To keep around and keep it like nobody could touch my PlayStation. Then just put it in pause mode and just walk away.
Yeah,
like that's not gonna happen.
How long is the game supposed to run? If you're really meant to do it in one sitting like that, that's quite
long
too
enough.
much.
Yeah, it's long enough, man. It took me a while just to get through the first level. And once I figured that out, okay, that speeds up over time. But at the same time, there are a couple things. So it's like, holy man, oh man. Yeah. But either way, it's nice to see that is coming. Scott, do we have time? Let's see. Oh, we're going to do it. You ready for this? Sackboy is the next PlayStation series coming to mobile. Ultimate Sackboy will be released globally on Android and iOS on February 21st. The game will be developed and published by UK Multi-Studio Extent under license from Sony. Ultimate Sackboy is a 3D runner played very similar in the viewpoint of other runners like Temple Run and Sonic Dash. What's that do for you, Scott? Anything at all?
I don't think I played Sonic Dash or Temple Run, actually. No, I was curious about the Sonic one, but it's worth noting, this is pointed out, this is not similar to Sackboy Go, I believe it's called. There is already one mobile.
Yes, which is funny to see. But there you go. More Sackboy on the way. Scott, what's on the way are a couple actual releases today. What do we have?
We have A Space for the Unbound, and that is on PlayStation 4, 5, Series X, S, Xbox One, can't leave them out, and PC. We have Colossal Cave, that is on the Xbox Series consoles, PlayStation 5, Switch, and PC. Persona 4 Golden and Persona 3 Portable, for that matter, are both on the Xbox XS1, PlayStation 4, I believe 5, although I'm missing that information, and Switch and PC.
Oh, there you go. Scott, are you excited to see finally Persona over on Xbox?
That's one that I absolutely cannot wait for. The debate now is, do I start with 3, 4, or 5? Because this is my first entry.
Ooh, there you go. I couldn't tell you. But, Scott, what I can tell you is that I'll wrap up today's show, everybody. Thank you for hanging out with us. This has been ITG Daily, where we bring you the hottest in gaming news. You can always join us live at 11 a.m. Eastern over on Twitch and YouTube at the official ITG. But if you can't join us live, hit us up later inside the game.ca, podcast services, and TV streaming networks around the globe. Until tomorrow, everybody, I'm Drew. That's Scott. We'll see you inside the game.